Okay, we're gonna quickly go over this quiz. If you are interested, this is gonna be a very quick one. So for a table of values, all you need to do is basically, if I'm not giving you the x values, you just um, pick them, and whatever you get for y, you're basically creating or finding pairs of that ordered pairs of points that are on the line. Another thing I wanted to mention here, if you're already watching, is that this can be written as f of x is equal to 3 over 2x minus 2, okay? They're the exact same thing, function notation, and this is the equation, okay? And so these points should be lining up when it's a linear equation. If it doesn't, then you made a mistake, okay? You got to go back and check one of the points. I think I've talked about that extensively already. Next, finding the rate of change is the change. Finding it, if it's asking you to calculate or determine, you need to calculate it. So pick any points that are on the graph. Pick smart points, right? Like don't pick this one here because you don't know exactly the coordinates to that one, right? Pick the ones that are on the intersection and then label x1, y1, x2, y2. Subtract your y's, making sure you go y2 minus y1 and then x2 minus x1. And be sure to include a negative if it's a negative rate of change, right? The line would be going down, so you need to watch out for that. B, explain what this value represents. So the distance travel increases by 60 miles for every hour, right? Or the speed at which the family is traveling is 60 miles per hour or something like that. I wanted to kind of indicate the change of y for every hour, which is the change in x, right? Your time. Next, you had to determine whether the following set was a linear function, not it's whether it's a linear function, not whether or not it is a function. Okay. And so we check the x values, they all go up 3 consistently, but when you check the y values, you notice that the last one here is there's a change of -3 instead of -2. So the y values do not change consistently, therefore not a linear function. So that's what most of you indicated. For write this in function notation, really all you needed to do is take the p and whatever variable is on the right side, which is your independent variable, just goes in a bracket like that next to the letter that's already there. Okay. And we calculate p of 8, so you basically just insert 8 in for n, calculate what that is. That is actually $46, right? So if because I indicated that here, I didn't really need units here, but it's not wrong to put units down. In this case, it represents dollars. So you really found the point 846, right? When x is 8, y is 46. In this case, if n is 8, which represents the number of cookies, you make $46. So you have to indicate that here. That's what it represents. Finding the value of n when Pn is equal to 60. So basically y is equal to 60, so we plug that in there. And then solve for n, we bring the 30 over, subtracting, you get 30, divide both sides by 2, you get 15. What does that represent? Is that you get paid $60 when selling 15 cookies, right? Translate this as an ordered pair. It's really that simple. X is -3 when y is 5. Round brackets, okay? The speed at what the skydiver was traveling 10 seconds before reach the ground. So this is the ground here. You just go back. This would be 5 and another 5. So it really is 20 kilometers per hour at that point. What's happening between O and A? it shows that the skydiver's speed is increasing by 140 kilometers an hour over 20 seconds, right? That's what I was looking for there. And this takes approximately 63 seconds or 64, but 65 would not be correct. Okay. Identify the independent variable is always the one that's along the x. If you only are given an equation, this is always your independent and this is your dependent, the x and the y, right? And so time and speed corresponds to each one there. And then you have your domain and range. Again, right, if you need highlighters, right, I'm going to do this with a highlighter. For the most part, it was done very well. It's just the largest, right, you mix them up. You need to have the smallest first and then the largest number second. So for the set, right, I go from -4 to, oops, I should have stopped there. From -4 to 2, right? So -4 included to 2, which is not included, right? So that's why you have a square bracket on the -4 and a positive and a round on the 2. For the range, in this particular case, start at the bottom. You go from -5 all the way to +4. -5 is not included, 4 is. So you got to watch out for the equal, right? If it's not included, do not do the equal sign. And here for brackets, it's that, right? So maybe a reminder, smallest and then largest, always, okay? That's always the case. If it's a dot, it'll be one of these for set or square brackets, right? If it's an open, it'll be one of these or round brackets, right? So that's kind of a reminder there. For the domain, we go from -2, always from left to right, okay? -2 to +4, both are included, so there's an equal. Make sure you have your squiggly brackets on either end. For the range, bottom up, right? From here all the way to the highest point, which is over here, right? So we go from 1 positive all the way to, don't worry about this one because the highest point is here. So from +1 to +4, 1 first, then 4, okay? And both should have square brackets on them. Over here, my domain, right? I start here and I just keep going indefinitely to the left. My range starts at, or goes up to 2, I should say. So you have to be careful. In set notation, it's just x will be less than or equal to, because it's included, but it's less than or equal to. And y is also less than or equal to 2. And this is where it's a little different. And so you got to go -infinity to 5. So for the domain, right, negative infinities out here. That's the smallest all the way to 5. Okay. And then for the range, it's -infinity here. That's the smallest all the way to 2. Okay. So keep that in mind. That's all I can think of. Hope this helps. Have a good one.